When your data is in a Microsoft Fabric OneLake structure, there is a better way to set up row-level security in it rather than going into Power BI semantic model and defining the row-level security. You can implement it in OneLake so that every object in OneLake follows that row-level security setup from your lakehouse to your SQL Analytics endpoint to your Power BI semantic model and to the report. You'll define it upstream and all the objects after that will follow that security configuration. This is called OneLake Security. In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can set up RLS, row-level security, in OneLake Security configuration all the way to your Power BI report from Lakehouse. My name is Reza Rad from Rad Academy. If you have watched some of my previous videos about row-level security and dynamic row-level security, you are familiar with this subject. If you haven't watched it, in short, in nutshell, row-level security talks about the configuration that you specify on your semantic model so that everyone see their own data. For example, the sales manager of California see the sales of California, sales manager of another state see the sales of that state or that country, and you define these as data row level configuration. That is why we call it row level security. Now, row level security can be applied inside the semantic model, and that is why what I explained in other videos that you can go and watch. There are different options for that. You have static row level security and dynamic row level security. Dynamic row level security can have many other options. That is how to do it inside Power BI. But now that we have Fabric structure, Fabric talks about the way that we can store all of our data in one layer of data called OneLake. OneLake as the base structure for all your data gives us this option so that we can go and define the security inside the OneLake. And when we define that, every object, your semantic model, your lakehouse, your warehouse, your SQL Analytics endpoint, your report, all of those would follow that security so that you don't have to go and configure that security in different levels. You define it in one place and your SQL developer, your self-service user in Power BI, your end user, they will all fall into that security configuration. So how this works, there are few configurations that you need to get this to have it working. I'm going through a demo and showing this to you one by one at different stages. What are the things that you need to do and how this is going to work. So first of all, this is a Fabric setup. So you need to have your data inside a Fabric lakehouse, meaning that you need a Fabric workspace, a workspace that is associated with a Fabric capacity. It does not matter, is it a F2, F4, F64, the capacity size doesn't matter. This can be applied everywhere. Now here in my setup, I have a lakehouse. Let me actually go into my structure in the workspace so that I can show you all of these to you. So I have a lakehouse, as you can see here. This lakehouse has some test data in it, which when I go into that, you see that I have like 4 tables: customer table, geography table, product table, and fact internet sales. These structures of data, they are related to each other. I have created a Power BI semantic model on top of it. But before showing you that semantic model, if I switch to the SQL Analytics endpoint, which is how you can switch it from this dropdown up in here, the SQL Analytics endpoint, I can then query the data. Let's say I would query this data and I would say select star from dim geography, for example. And this is the data that I have in dim geography. You see that I have an English country region name that if I get distinct of that, distinct English country region name, meaning that I'm getting the unique list of these values, you see that I have different countries in my data set: United States, France, Germany, Canada, Australia, and United Kingdom. So what I have done is I have created a semantic model on top of this and created a report. Now, to create the semantic model, the way that I have done it, I went to create the semantic model. Here is a really critical point, that when you create the semantic model to implement row-level security, it is definitely best if you use this mode of storage, which is called Direct Lake on OneLake instead of Direct Lake on SQL. There are differences between these two. Direct Lake on OneLake gives you the most flexible option on these. Direct Lake on SQL have some other configurations that you can use, but for row-level security, I would strongly recommend you to go and use that. So you'll name your semantic model something, you'll select all your tables. I'm going to show you how my semantic model look like. So here is the semantic model that I have created before. I have these tables. You see, this is fact internet sales table. All of these are modeled in web, but you can build it in the desktop. There is nothing stopping you to do that. So I have my fact internet sales. It is sliced and diced by product. It is also sliced and diced by customer, and the geography is connected to the customer. It's not a fully star schema model. Best would have been geography being part of the customer, but doesn't matter for this setup. Here I have these two connected based on the geographic key. As you can see, geographic key here and geographic key at the top table. One-to-many relationship, meaning that when I filter geography table, that would also filter customer table would also filter the fact internet sales table. That is how the direction of relationship in each of these are filtering. So from here to here and from here to here. So this setup also needs one more thing. So far you learned that OneLake, Direct Lake on OneLake is one of the requirements. Another requirement that you need for getting this working is that you need to go under the security. This is under my SQL Analytics endpoint. Under the security, you'll go to data access mode configuration. And in your data access mode, you'll go to data access mode settings. Over there, you'll define these security to be this option, which is user identity access mode. This means that we are capturing who is the user logged into the system, and based on that define that instead of the delegated identity. Delegated identity means that it is using one user setup. So we are going to use this option, which is user identity access mode. In the future, probably most of the semantic models would be using this option by default. It is very critical for your row-level security to have this option so that the user can pass information and the semantic model shows the data of that particular user. So this was the setup so far, the data access mode to be user identity mode, and also the Direct Lake on OneLake option. After you build your semantic model, then we can go and build a report. I have created a report that is quite simple. I have a column chart here showing the country name at the bottom and the sales amount of each country, and the other visual, which is a table visual here, shows each state, each country, and the sum of the sales. At the moment, you see that I see all of these different countries and different states. This is the report that I have created here. Now, if I go and share this workspace with someone, in my case, I have went to manage access. Now you can share this in many different ways. I can share it through an app, which is usually the best way to do that, using org app. I have explained it in another video, or even the older Power BI workspace app would work, but org app probably is a better option. You can share it with different users, but for my test purpose, I have created a viewer access here. This is the viewer access that I give to this user, and when I go with that user to that workspace, let me just bring that user up over here. So this is that user. This is a different user on a different browser window in an incognito tab, which I can go and see those objects because I have viewer access. I can click on the report, but when the report opens, it shows me this error. When I click on that error, it tells me that I do not really have access to this. And that is because we want to set up that row-level security mode because we use that identity pass configuration. If you remember in the security in this data access mode setting, I said that user identity access mode. So this user really need to have access to the underlying data. Because it doesn't have that at the moment, that is why the user don't see it. So I can go and set this up in manage OneLake Security. And that is the most important part of this video, because this is all about OneLake Security setup. So I can go here and say, well, I want to set up the OneLake Security configuration. There is always one default reader role that has access to all the tables. If I expand that, it has access to all the tables in the semantic model. At the moment, I'm in like this account is in that permission level. Now, if I go ahead and add the other user in this, that means that user would be able to see everything, right? But that's not what I want to do. I want to create a role for that user to be able to only see certain countries. So for that, what I'll do is I'll go to this OneLake Security under the main root of that. I'll create a role. I'm going to name this role Australia, Canada role. Let's say this is a role for those who have access to the sales information of Australia and Canada. We are giving the grant permission. You can do grant or deny. In this case, this is a grant permission. If you want to give read and write access, you have that option, but read is by default enabled. And I'm going to give read access because this is going to be a user who would query the data, not write into it. Then the next step is where I define which part of the data that this user has access. All data means that no row level security. This means that this user will see everything. If I want to define row level security, I'll have to say selected data, and then using this edit option, this is a place that I would go and choose which part of data this user has access to. So I'll go under the tables, I'll expand the schema, and in my case, I want to apply that filter in geography table in the column that is the country name. So I'll select geography table. And then after selecting that, I would go to the data access tab. This is the place that I would go and define that configuration. Here is the place that I would go and write that SQL command. If you watched my row level security setup in Power BI, you know that we define these in the semantic model by adding a role, and then over there in the configuration of that, we go and write the access statement. This is kind of similar to that. The only difference is that we write a SQL statement here. So what I'll do is I would go and say, select star from geography table, and be careful with the written expression for this. This is all case sensitive. So where, which is like in this case a keyword, if you write it in lowercase, it wouldn't work. It may not show you error here, but when you are trying to save it, it will give you an error that this doesn't work. So be careful about case sensitivity. So in my case, I'm saying that where in here English country region name, I can say equal, but in my case I want to say in, and I'm going to say Canada and Australia. So in this role, I'm saying that this role has access to only these two countries. I can also go and set up column level security if I want in the other tab, but in my example in this video, we are going to talk about only row level security. The difference is that you go to the other tab and configure it. I'll probably explain that in another video. So after you define these, you can say, you can check the table and say add data, but this is not enough, because you need also other tables. Sales information, sales amount itself is not in geography table, that is in the sales table. Or customers that are in that particular geography are in customer table. So you need other tables as well. You can go ahead and select each of those tables. If you want to apply row level security on those tables as well, you can, of course, by clicking on each of these, you can go and write that over here. Or if you don't want, if geography was the only table you want to apply row level security, you apply on that, and for the rest of the tables you just go and select it. I have examples for Power BI row level security that I go and apply on multiple tables. You can go and watch those in our YouTube channel. So after you select these, you can say add data, and you can actually check this. So here it tells me that, well, this is the tables that I have, and between these tables, the only one that has a row level security configuration or data level security configuration is geography. But because of the relationship between tables, this will follow through, and I will see all the information in other tables as well. So the next stage, which is the last stage of defining this row level security, is that who is a member of this role. Here, the best practice is to assign security groups, not individuals. But for my example, because this is just a demo I want to show you, I'm going to use that user which I want to give access to. So this would be that user, which is hopefully coming up soon. Here it is. And this means that this user is member of this role. You can add as many as users you want. But as I said, don't use users here directly, use security groups. That is a much better and governed way to do that, because when people leave organizations or team or join organization or teams, you can define that you can add or remove that person from the security group, and that would follow through everywhere here. So I create that role, and that's pretty much it. Now you can see I have this role as well as that default role. But that user that I have opened in the other tab has that user. Now I'm going to refresh this. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time for the security configuration to come through. Sometimes it is really fast. Let's see how much time it gets. So here it is. It applied really fast. I compared this with the original report. Let me first show you what the original report looked like, and then you can compare it with this one. So original report was like this. So this was the original report that I had all of these countries, the total sales $29 million. It shows all the countries without any filters. But now this user, when this user looked at the data, it can only see Canada, Australia, only states of Canada and Australia, and all the sales for this is without defining any row level security in the semantic model. Because the security is defined in OneLake, it follows through. Not only there, if as a user who has access to query the data, in this case, let's say this user really wants to go to this warehouse, and I want to query the data. This is the warehouse. This is not the semantic model. I'm going to query the data from the tables available here, and these are the tables available here, like dim geography. So let's say I would say select star from dim geography. Of course, select star, select everything. But let's say in my case, if I'm only interested in seeing distinct list of country name, that should only give me those countries that I have access to, which is Canada and Australia. So I have set up a row level security that is not only applying in semantic model and the report, but also on the SQL Analytics endpoint, the warehouse, the lakehouse, everywhere. This is called OneLake Security. It is really beneficial for your setup because when you do it once, everywhere it follows. It works with mirrored sources, it works with shortcuts. There are different configurations that you have to apply. There are many details that you can also go and see that. I will explain in other videos perhaps about how to do column level security, object level security. They are simple too. But the main point here is that instead of going and defining in the object level, we define it at the base data layer level, and all the objects would follow that configuration. This is much more governed way of implementing it, and it's much easier to maintain. Every time you want to maintain it, you'll go to one place and configure it. You don't have to go and define your security configurations in the warehouse, in the lakehouse, and in the semantic model separately. There is one place to do that, and that is OneLake Security. And in this video, I showed you the RLS option for that. I hope you enjoyed this video. You liked this video. Go ahead and subscribe into our YouTube channel. If you find these videos useful, we have weekly videos on Power BI, Microsoft Fabric subject. And until the next video, bye.